Good afternoon. Greg Samuels here with CBTS, and I'm pleased to have some very special guests today from the U.S. Small Business Administration. CBTS invited guests from the SBA to speak to the services available to impacted small businesses as we fight against the coronavirus, and I'm beyond grateful for their participation. The Cincinnati Bell family of companies, including CBTS, Cincinnati Bell Business, and Hawaiian Telecom, service many small businesses today and would like to get the message out how the SBA is here to help during and after the crisis. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Leigh Fox, CEO of Cincinnati Bell, for a few words.
Thanks, Greg. As Greg mentioned, my name is Leigh Fox, and I'm President and CEO of Cincinnati Bell. Cincinnati Bell's entities, which include Cincinnati Bell Business, CBTS, and Hawaiian Telecom, provide IT services to tens and thousands of small businesses across the country. As we navigate this uncertain time, our company is committed to sharing important resources and valuable thought leadership with as many small businesses as we can reach. That is why we invite you to watch this WebEx presentation from the U.S. Small Business Administration. The SBA is working hard to support small businesses that have been severely impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. I hope that the information in this WebEx is valuable to you and your organization. And I speak for Cincinnati Bell's 4,400 employees when I say that our company is here to support you in any way that we can, both now and well into the future. Thanks.
Thanks, Leigh. Appreciate it. Now I'd like to turn it over to Jerome and Ray from the SBA to introduce themselves and go over the presentation. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. This is Jerome Jones from the Columbus District Office of the SBA. We cover 66 counties from Central Ohio south down to the Cincinnati District.
And this is Ray Graves from the SBA Cleveland District Office, which is the northern 28 counties of the state.
Great. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Feel free to go over the participation for our customer base and any affected small businesses throughout the country, for that matter.
Alrighty, let's get this started. First of all, I want to go over the SBA's Economic Injury Disaster Loan Basics. So what businesses are eligible? Small businesses, small agricultural cooperatives, small aquaculture businesses, and most private nonprofit organizations. So I stress private because we are talking about things like museums and things like that, private nonprofit organizations. Want to also iterate that there are size standards that apply. Those size standards are based upon your small businesses NAICS code, so the North American Industrial Classification Systems code, and it's related to our 13 Code of Regulations, Code of Federal Regulations 120.201. So that's very important information to have. Most small businesses are likely to qualify, but I just want to make sure that I put that in there, that that's what it's based upon, those size standards. Now, the small business must be directly affected by the disaster, and the small business must be located in the disaster area. So what I mean by that is to have a physical presence in the disaster area. So it cannot be located in an area that is not declared a disaster area and just merely have a P.O. box in the disaster area. So just want to make sure that I cover that. How much can you borrow? You can get up to $2 million. So that doesn't mean every small business will get $2 million, obviously. It has to do with what you'll qualify for, but that is the maximum. The interest rate is 3.75% for small businesses and 2.75% for not-for-profits, private not-for-profits. There is a built-in deferment period of 11 months. The first payment will begin on the 12th month, and that's after the note date. So it's all based upon the date, the promissory note. The term is up to 30 years. Obviously, it's going to be based upon ability to repay and the loan amount, but you can get up to 30-year term and 30-year amortization, and that is a fixed rate. Now, what can the funds be used for? This is to cover your fixed and variable monthly expenses. So you cannot use this to purchase equipment or real estate. So your fixed debt payments, payroll, accounts payable, monthly payroll taxes, things like that. Things that you incur as the monthly operation of your business. You cannot use it for dividend payments. It cannot be used as disbursement to owners. You can't use it to repay stockholders, except as a result of the disaster. You can't use it for facility expansion. You can't refinance long-term debt or physical damage or the payment of federal debt. Collateral requirements. So there's no collateral up to $25,000. So that is unsecured. Anything over $25,000, a personal guarantee is required, and they will get all available collateral. So all available business collateral is on the table for that. Anything under $25,000 is unsecured. Now, keep in mind, a lack of collateral is not a sole reason for decline, but they will get all available collateral. Ray, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks. I should probably refer to this more as actual application requirements for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, and it's going to include the following things. There's an application document, which is SBA Form 5 or 5C for sole proprietors. There is an IRS transcript request document, which is called the IRS 4506T. Applicants will fill that out to allow the SBA to verify with the IRS that the information we're receiving in our application is the same as the information that was provided to the IRS. You'll be required to put in at least one business federal income tax return. A schedule of liabilities is required to be filled out. That's SBA Form 2202. A personal financial statement will have to be entered. That's SBA Form 413D. And there's a monthly sales tracking form called SBA Form 1368 that you'll have to put in. I should mention that all of this stuff is going to be done online. So when I say something like the Form 5, what I'm really referring to is through the online portal, when you apply, you'll be asked to put this information in. Now, when you're preparing yourself to go into our system and upload the information, it may be helpful to make sure that you have some of this documentation in paper form in front of you so that you're kind of prepared for what you have to enter in. Jerome, go ahead, next slide. Additional filing requirements that you'll probably have to put in would include personal tax returns for all the principals. And by that, we mean people who are in control of the business, and especially anyone with more than 20% ownership in the business. Year-end financial statements may be required, and an interim current P&L. Now, those are going to be required, especially if your 2019 business tax return isn't done yet. And a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, are going to be in that situation because of where we are in the calendar year. They won't have their business tax returns yet. If that's the case, then go ahead and upload the documentation that you have. For example, you may have a 2019 compilation, or you may have an audited statement or review. Whatever you got, go ahead and upload that into that business tax return blank so that something is provided for our disaster loan processors to take a look at. Go ahead. Jerome, were you going to take this next part?
Yeah, so ineligible entities, farms, and when they say farms, they're talking about big corporate farms. Can be small farms and small aquaculture businesses, but large farms are excluded. No religious organizations, so think churches. No gambling concerns, no casinos or racetracks, no speculative entities, no SBA loan packagers, no lobbyists, no real estate developers, and the current concerns that have credit elsewhere available. So if underwriting deems that you have credit elsewhere available at reasonable terms, you will not be eligible. Now, how do you apply? Go to disasterloan.sba.gov/ELA. You can also mail in your presentation to the Disaster Loan Processing and Disbursement Center in Fort Worth, Texas. However, it is strongly recommended that you don't do that and you complete all of these documents electronically. Reason being, if you do choose to mail it in, you are at the mercy of snail mail. It's going to go to a mail room, It's going to sit there until someone picks it up and actually goes through, and they have to enter it into the system. So you can just imagine that that's going to delay your time of getting it in front of a loan decision. If you run into any issues or questions, you can call the SBA's Customer Service Center, 800-659-2955, or you can email the Customer Service Center at disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. I want to point this out, that the single largest reason for delay is missing information. So if you don't fill out the forms correctly or incompletely, that is the single largest cause of delay at this point. And Ray, I'll kick it back over to you.
Okay. On the screen is just the proper website that you should be looking at, so there's no confusion. Again, disasterloan.sba.gov. Once you get there, you'll see 3 big dots, and the big blue dot is the Apply Online button. So you go ahead and click on that. Go ahead, next slide. It's going to give you options to register. So you want to make sure the first time you go into the system, you're registering your own username and password, just like you would with any online system. You're going to go in, click on register, and complete your application by inputting your username and password. Next slide. You're going to need to make sure to put in the information that's required there with a red asterisk. I've given you a screenshot there, but the important thing is make sure that you fill everything out completely. And anything with a red asterisk is absolutely required. One tip is for the primary phone number that you put in on this registration screen, you probably should be putting in a cell phone, because we may be sending authorization codes or something through digital means. And if you've got a landline, it might not be able to pick that up. On page 2 of the registration, you'll be able to create your unique username and password, put in your security questions, things you won't forget. Just like any system, this is going to allow you to have sort of an identity in the disaster loan assistance program. Go ahead. So we have some contact information coming up next, but before we go on, I just want to recap a few things about this program. We're talking about something called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So make sure when you're applying for one of these things, you're selecting that program. If you make a mistake and sign up for something like a physical disaster, you're going to be limited, because it's going to be only in certain areas where there has been a physical disaster in Ohio. So make sure you're selecting Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Economic injury disaster loans are working capital loans. So it is designed to replace expenditures that you otherwise would have been able to pay, but you can't because of the COVID-19 disaster. So it's going to be things like ongoing installment payments and rent and insurance, things that you need to keep the lights on. It's not a means to refinance your current debt or to do some plant expansion. If you are in the space where, for whatever reason, maybe you're in medical devices or something and your business is doing really well and you need funding to expand, we have SBA products that are available for that, but it's not the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. So do bear that in mind. So the Columbus District Office here is represented by Jerome Jones. If you're just listening and you don't have access to a screen, his number is 614-427-0476. Again, 614-427-0476. And with the Cleveland District Office, go ahead and advance. I am Ray Graves with 216-522-4192. Again, 216-522-4192. We are available to answer questions. We encourage you to call, and we hope you stay safe.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. A couple of questions here, if you don't mind. So CBTS has customers across all 50 states. We're based out of the Midwest here for these offices. This program's available to all 50 states, small businesses in all 50 states, correct?
That is correct.
Where would somebody viewing this, in Hawaii or viewing this in Florida, where could they go to find their SBA contact for the region that they're in? Can you direct them maybe to a website?
Yeah, you can go to sba.gov, and there's a search engine in there. You could find just simply put in your town or state, and it will direct you to the district office in your area.
Great. next question, if someone would forget to put something and it's now missing information, is there a notification that their application is currently on hold pending retrofit of the application, or how would they be notified that they were missing information in the application?
Every one of these deals will be assigned a loan officer. So,
Okay.
Once they've submitted it, it's going to be in queue and it'll be there for a couple weeks or whatever. We think at least a couple weeks before it gets picked up. We hope for better, but probably a couple weeks. And the loan officer is going to have an opportunity to go through the application with them to, fix anything that's not correct. And I think that's going to happen quite a bit. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to sort of like get advance notice if they screwed something up, if that's your
Okay.
question.
So
It's
that
going
would
to
go
be a
in
loan officer's
queue,
going to have to
it
review
would be
it.
assigned to a resource, and that resource would see that something is missing from the application.
Yeah, I want to iterate though that it's very important that they put a contact number that is reachable, and preferably a mobile number, because they'll be sent a text message if information is needed.
I appreciate you being here, and I was going to ask the question, as more legislation comes out, hopefully we can do this again to keep our small businesses informed, let them know how they get help, and know who to escalate to. So appreciate your time, guys.
I just remembered. So
yes.
I remembered, very important that they print out their application number. That's going to be how they actually communicate on their application.
Great. Well, that will wrap it up. I appreciate everybody's time, and good luck to everybody. Hopefully these programs benefit our small businesses as they are intended to. Thank you, folks.